Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game Plan Africa. My name is Charles. I am one of your hosts. It's been an interesting week when it comes to sports. As it relates to Africa, a lot has happened. There was the WNBA Draft that had a number of players of African origin drafted. There was the CAF Champions League semifinals. We're going to touch on that, and I have a question that I want to ask as it relates to the UEFA Champions League. There was the African Flag Football Championship that was announced that it will be held in Cairo, Egypt, coming up later this year. We'll touch on that, and we'll talk about how that sport is growing in Africa, how NFL is making inroads in Africa, and where I hope it will get to in the next coming years. There is also, speaking of basketball, by the way, there was the Basketball Africa League that took place, and a major announcement by them as it relates to WNBA as well. So stay tuned, and let's dive into this one by one. The WNBA 2025 draft was held, and a number of players of African origin were drafted. We have Kiki Riafen from Nigeria, who was drafted 4th overall by the Washington Mystics. She made a cultural statement by wearing gold custom-made dress designed by a Nigerian designer by the name of Nneka Alexander. It was beautiful. It had the social media world talking. We also have Dominique Malonga from Cameroon, who was drafted 2nd overall by the Seattle Storm. She is 6'6" with 7'1" wingspan. Yeah, so she's one dominating big out there. We also had Aicha Koulibaly drafted. It's a good thing that this is happening, because there is a young lady out there playing basketball in Lagos, Nigeria, in Accra, Ghana, Kumasi, Senegal, Cameroon, name it, in Africa. And they are watching this and hoping that one day they'll be sitting in that room and would hear their names called. Interestingly, the Basketball Africa League that was held recently, drawing players, 156 players out of 28 African countries, recently appointed Chini Ogumike as first female ambassador. Chini Ogumike was a former number 1 overall pick in the WNBA, and she's a tremendous analyst with ESPN. These are things that young lady there in Nigeria or Mali is watching and saying, man, I will be there one day. This is inspiring to me. This is motivating to me. There will be a time where we'll sit down and actually discuss the impact that African women athletes have made, not just in the continent, out there in the world. So one day we'll sit down and celebrate them with their achievements and everything they've achieved in their careers. Let's talk about the CAF Champions League. The CAF Champions League, we are at the semi-final stage. Ironically, the UEFA Champions League has gone to the semi-final stage as well. Now, why am I bringing the UEFA Champions League and marrying it to the CAF Champions League? The teams that are playing in the CAF Champions League, as I check the notes, are Al Ahly and Pyramids FC of Egypt facing South African powerhouses of Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates. These are big teams in Africa. These are big when it comes to club football with a lot of followership. But that's the thing. It ends there. Most people outside of Africa don't know about these teams. And the buzz that the UEFA Champions League creates is not the same as what you see in Africa with the CAF Champions League. We all know what happened this week. So at the time of taping, there's Arsenal knocking out Real Madrid. Come on, you Gunners. How that, that created a crazy buzz across the internet, social media, Instagram, TikTok, name it, right? How it happened. UEFA love that. It's giving them the ratings that they want when it comes to this competition. Now, my question is, will CAF ever get to that level where CAF Champions League is talked about as the UEFA Champions League is being talked about? I grew up in the city of Aba in the eastern part of Nigeria. And I remember when Enyimba Football Club of Aba won the CAF Champions League twice, back in the day. And I remember people trooping out, getting on the streets, like going crazy, happy. I think the state governments, declared a holiday or something like that. These players were, promised heaven and earth. It was a big thing. Even CAF, even the controversy surrounding the games, how the players were treated when they played away, and the buzz that it created was crazy. People looked forward to these games. Now, I don't know why that has gone down. I don't know why we don't have that same buzz anymore. What is it that CAF is not doing? Is it the marketing? Is it back to the grassroots of this sport? Is it TV, getting a better TV deal that maybe somebody like me in the United States wouldn't have to look to see what a channel is showing it? Like, I can tell you right off the top of my head, Paramount Plus is what's showing UEFA Champions League. So what is it that we have to do in the continent to make CAF Champions League, somewhat get to the level of the UEFA Champions League? That's the question I have. If you have answers, provide them in the comments. And hopefully one day we'll get to that level again. Now, let's talk about African Flag Football Championships that was announced that it will be held in Cairo, Egypt, later this year. This is a welcome development in the sense that this sport of football, American football, is gaining traction in Africa. What the NFL is doing through NFL Africa and the football bodies in select countries in Africa. I know Ghana, Nigeria, I think South Africa, and now obviously countries in North Africa have been keeping busy when it comes to promoting this sport. They've been doing tremendously well. It's been slowly gaining traction. It's a sport where people who didn't originally welcome it with open arms because of the controversies surrounding the safety of the sport. A couple of years back, there was a documentary or a film done about the brain injuries you get from playing American football. Ironically, it was by a Nigerian doctor. Because of that, it's been really hard for the sport to gain traction. Also, there is, in Africa, this is, when you're coming into a continent that soccer or football is the number one sport, you would struggle to get to the next level. But what NFL Africa has been doing is, do workshops, educate people about the safety of the sport, and also kind of taking baby steps in introducing the sport in the continent. And with the help of players of African origin as well, like Owusu, what he does in Ghana, a number of players from Nigeria, they come back home, organize clinics, and get athletes involved and teach them the sport. So it's been growing. We're looking forward to this flag football championship in Cairo, and Game Plan Africa will be there to hopefully cover it. Now, my hope is as we grow this sport, there will be a time where there will be an actual NFL game in the continent, say in Nigeria, maybe, say in Uyo in Nigeria, or maybe Accra, Ghana, or Durban, South Africa, or Cape Town, South Africa, or even in Cairo now that we're bringing it up there. There will be a time where even if it's an exhibition game in Africa, it would happen. I'm also hoping, I mean, this is still a long time from now, but hopefully it happens, because I mean, if the NFL can introduce this game in Europe, where you have, I think it's called NFL UK. You also have, they have games in Germany now. They have games in, as far as Brazil. I know the opening, game of last year between the Eagles and the Packers was in Sao Paulo, Brazil. If that can happen, there should be a time where you have, a game being played, say in Lagos, Nigeria. Maybe, like I said, an NFL exhibition game. It doesn't even have to be a regular season game. I know there will be a time where Afrobeat superstars would perform in the Super Bowl halftime show. That's probably going to happen in a year or two. So this is hoping that these steps that NFL Africa and the bodies in, football bodies in I know, for instance, the Cleveland Browns have partnership. I think one of their markets is in Nigeria. You have this Philadelphia Eagles in Ghana as well. So this is, it's gaining traction. It's happening as they're announcing their presence. And I think maybe in the next 5 years, there will be, my wish would come true. So here's to that happening. We will close on a solemn note. The Nigerian Football Federation announced this week the passing of Chairman Christian Chukwu and also Charles Bassey, who were members of the Nations Cup winning team of 1980 with Nigeria, the Nigerian Green Eagles, as they were known then, before it became the Super Eagles. These are legends, and not just in Nigeria, but in Africa. That 1980 team was the first time that Nigeria ever won the AFCON, and they will go down as one of the best teams that Nigeria ever had, and also across one of the best teams in Africa. That team boasts of the likes of Christian Chukwu, Odegbami. The finals between them and Algeria was a cakewalk. They beat Algeria 3-0 to lift the cup. So this is sending out prayers to the families of Chairman Christian Chukwu and Charles Bassey, and mourning with fans across not just Nigeria, Africa in general, and we'll have everybody in our thoughts and prayers.